Hello, I'm Mahana Mazur. This is Change Your Funk to Fun. Welcome. Today's talk is it's time to reboot your self-worth. Yes, so we're going to be helping you today with your self-worth. Woohoo! It actually is the foundation of a lot of who we are and what we experience in this life. And I know for myself, I definitely had signed up to volunteer to basically get my self-worth shattered, pretty much pummeled on or almost eliminated, just really broken down, really tough. So I speak from my own life experiences, my wisdom, and then I am a spiritual connector. So I connect with spiritual beings and our divine cohorts in the spirit world, our angelic team, our archangels, the Council of Light, Archangel Raphael especially, and just beautiful supports. And so self-worth is a huge one. And let's start diving into this. And what I recommend for you is definitely get a journal out and have some reflective time that you can write and journal, and even set up a time with a close friend or a loved one or even a partner, someone who can listen. And that one you get to practice with to upgrade and reboot your self-worth to your next highest level. And yeah, this talk today is here for you, so you can put it into practice, so you literally can activate your self-worth to a much more expansive, higher level than you could have ever imagined before. And I will be offering near the end of our talk about tools that you can use, because it's very vital to have some very helpful and supportive tools to help you with that. So, what I like to do is just for your own self, check in with yourself about asking yourself, hey, how is my self-worth? I know even for myself, I thought I had a decent self-worth. I had no idea that my self-worth was so tainted and affected. I had no idea. I was in complete denial of it. And many people might be, and you might be too, and that's okay. So this is just meant to help spark things up for you and let you start reevaluating it, because the gift is once you do activate your self-worth to your next highest level and into your love, into your remembrance of who you are, you'll be amazed, one, how much better you're going to feel, how more of a synchronicity and flow of your life will become, living more in harmony within yourself. Yes, and that you get to experience maybe more loving words being spoken to you, more loving experiences, more fun, exciting, expansive experiences for yourself. And you get to do this. And because if you're not, so the key comes in then, whether your self-worth is, like, let's say at a 10, from 0 to 10, we could say 0 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. If it were somewhere in between there, you get to anchor it up closer to 10. That's the gift here. And that closest to the highest of the highest of the highest that you could ever imagine. And that actually will be a good place to begin. Let's begin with the end in mind. Imagine yourself having complete self-worth, knowing who you are, and at the highest level, knowing you are the I am presence here, connected with oneness, connected with pure love, connected with infinite possibilities, that you get to be a co-creator of your life, that you get to manifest and create and experience at your highest level, that you get to experience love, you get to experience joy, peace, harmony, and live in abundance, live in pure pleasure of your life throughout your day. Would you like to have that? Yay! I know I sure would, and I am living a really beautiful life, that's for sure. And there's parts that I'm still wanting to anchor up even more. Heck yeah, because we can. Because we're human, and we got real stuff within us. And one of those real stuffs is our level of self-worth within us. So, imagine you could have it at the highest level. Let's get real now. Let's get to the point of what really happened within your life, especially your first 7 years of life, those first beginning years, and even through your first 21 years of life. Where were there major difficulties? Did you have any traumas or wounds? Were you abused? Were you spanked as a little kid? I know I was, that's for sure. Lots of fear there. Certainly afraid of my father. And you might have had that too. I was sexually abused as an 8-year-old girl. That adds a whole nother piece of slaughtering my self-worth. So if you've had any kind of inappropriateness, it could be emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, any of that, then it will affect your self-worth. Okay? If you've had major failures in your life, where things just completely catapulted and major losses. You've had people in your life that have died, or you've had major, really harsh things. Those will affect. What will happen as a little child is that we interpret our experiences and we come up with conclusions and we create filters that then get stored in our subconscious mind. And when they're in our subconscious mind, like for myself, I know I sure did it, and you might have too, that what's wrong with me? And I even had that said to me a lot. What's wrong with you? A lot of my siblings said that to me. You might have had that too. Then I interpreted that there must be something wrong with me. I actually thought I was flawed in some way, or just wasn't made in the highest way that we're supposed to be made. And with religion, I was raised Christian, and with that whole overlay, I was taught about original sin and that we've been basically marked and we have fallen, that there's something wrong with us again, that whole thing too. So that slaughtered the whole worthiness part, thinking we're not worthy to be at our highest level, not worthy to receive love at the highest level and to give love and to be the love that we are. Totally. So these things can totally affect us. And how you'll know if your self-worth could use some rebooting and upgrading is one, by how you're talking, the things that you say. That's a huge one. And then we'll move on to like how you're behaving or what's happening in your life. But let's talk about the words. Because when we express ourselves, we are meant to express from our hearts, but most of us don't. Most of us talk from our minds, and we get disconnected from our hearts. So with rebooting your self-worth, you will be able to reconnect back to your heart again, to the level that you can fully expand and you can speak from your heart, be your love, speak your love, and reconnect back to that worthiness so that you get to totally experience in the highest level. But if we're speaking from your mind, then you're going to be saying things like, and this would be an example of someone who could use some help rebooting their self-worth. One, if it's hard to ask for help. If you have a hard time asking for help, that's a little red flag, okay, that you may need a bit of assistance and a bit of for your own stepping in to reboot your self-worth. Or if you don't, things are very confusing, or you're not clear about things, that just could be because you could use some help anchoring into your self-worth and your knowingness and your power so that things can become clear for you. Okay. If you are indirect when you talk about stuff, you don't just say what's going on, be real, express how you feel, even if there may be fears of rejection, fears of people saying no, fears of being pushed off or being judged or criticized, any of those things, then we will, with our subconscious, and then that moves us into how we behave, our subconscious mind, all the programs there is what and how we're behaving and what we're saying. It's doing all of that for us. That you will speak indirectly, you won't get right to stuff. So that's a big signal. And then we're going to be helping you so you can become more direct with how you feel and how you express yourself and what your needs are, and that you can share your needs. Yes. So you might say something like, well, I'm sorry to bother you. I know I used to say that a lot. I used to say I'm sorry all the time. In fact, there was a woman at a workshop I went to where she noticed it. She was a life coach. She says, you know what? You say I'm sorry way too much. And I was like, whoa, that was a lot to hear. And here my little self-worth even got nicked there. I'm like, wow, what's wrong with me? Again, right? And I was so grateful that she said that, because she was right. I was apologizing way too much. And that was just because there's an aspect of my inner child that was still hurt from the fears that I was raised in, and the spanking, and even the sexual abuse, and those different pieces, right? Ooh, so I've learned how to let that go. And that's what we're going to be helping you, is to apologize less. Yes, it's important to apologize, and it's beautiful to apologize when the time is right. Just see, how much are you doing it? When it's appropriate, absolutely. But are you overdoing it? Are you over apologizing? Are you saying it way too much? Because if you are, beautiful. It's just an indicator that you get to reset that, reboot your self-worth, pull it back. Okay, and we're gonna be helping you with things you can say and what you can do, and you can learn how to speak in a new way and totally reactivate your self-worth within you, which is massive, and then begin practicing this in a new way. You could also be saying things like, this is probably stupid, but blah, 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 blah. So you're already putting yourself down. If you put yourself down while you're talking, that's just an aspect of you within you that doesn't think you're worthy. Okay, and those are the parts that we're going to help you reboot, to know you're worthy, to let that go. Stop talking bad about yourself. Stop it. Stop it, stop it. Yes, you can be funny. You can be funny. I know funny things are okay. But really be good. Talk good with yourself and do a little funny twist in a whole nother way, which would be really nice. Okay. How about another one? If it's not too much trouble, blah, 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 before you ask for something. If you have a hard time asking for help and you put these extra inserts in here, like, I'm sorry, but I need to ask you this. Or this is probably stupid, but blah, blah, blah. Or it's not too much trouble, blah, blah, blah. It's just a signal that there's an aspect of that lack of self-worth that totally showing up, okay? And it can even be like a needy desire energies, or just wanting to be so loved and cared for and accepted, that even that stuff is shooting out, which is perfect, because this is what this talk is about, that you can reboot yourself subconscious with your self-worth, so that you can begin to speak in new ways, which is really beautiful. And you might say something like, hey, I totally understand if you say no, but blah, blah, blah. So you're already expecting the rejection or expecting the no, putting you even out there before it even happens. If you are speaking like this, or even talking to yourself internally like this, catch it. And we're going to be helping you with saying things in new ways, so that you can reboot your self-worth. And literally how you reboot your self-worth is by reconnecting into your knowingness within you, your solar plexus areas where your power center is, knowing that you are a divine being living here, knowing you are the I am incarnate here as your unique self, and connecting into your heart, the love of who you are, what feels right for you, those emotions that help you, that you can access, upgrading yourself, knowing that I am safe, I am secure, I am loved. These are huge. I live abundantly. These are pieces that most of us don't have operating in our subconscious mind. And later in the talk, we'll be talking about PSYCH-K and find your sacred way. Find your sacred way. It's going to be some new material I'm going to be launching in June. We'd love to share more about that too. But there are tools that can help you with literally upgrading these, rebooting yourself at the subconscious level, which will then reboot your self-worth. Yay! Isn't that awesome? Yes. All right. So, because the key here is for you to be able to change perceptions within yourself, how you view yourself and how you view the world, the identity that you created within yourself. We created our identity for 7 years of life, and you can change that identity. Whatever your parents or your caregivers or your family, siblings and stuff said about you or thought you were, a lot of us embodied that, and that became who we thought we were. And that may not be true. It's just their beliefs. It's what they thought you were. Would you like to discover who you are? Would you love to discover exactly who you are? One, that you are worthy. You deserve a beautiful life. You deserve wonderful experiences, great success, great love, great health. Yes, and you get to have that. So it is essential to make sure at the subconscious level that your self-worth is at the highest level that you would love it to have. Because once you know you're worthy of it, that's what's going to activate the excitement within you, the drive within you, the motivation, the curiosity, your knowingness, your power, your strength, your wisdom, all these beautiful pieces within you that can help activate, so that you can then begin to magnetize these experiences and co-create those as a co-creator in your life. And you get to do this, and it is by rebooting your self-worth. Self-worth is actually at the most intimate and powerful level. So allow yourself throughout your day, check in with yourself. How am I doing with my self-worth? How do I feel about myself? Do I feel that I am worthy? Do I feel that I am valuable and important and necessary here? Do I feel that I am loved and wanted? And if you don't, it's okay. There's just, all that means is there's programs running at the subconscious level of mind that are running the opposite. And that are saying, oh yeah, you're not worthy. Oh yeah, no, you're not. Well, who do you think you are? And attempting to keep yourself with the ego self separate and small. Maybe there's fears that you're afraid of being seen, or afraid of truly being successful, or afraid of truly being loved. Maybe for some people, they're afraid of intimacy and love because of the hurts they had when they were younger. And we'll be talking about attachment styles too later in this talk. But it's okay. These were just aspects of us when we were younger. And as an adult, we have the right, the birthright, to reboot all this, to clear this stuff out, to let go of those old programs, to let go of that yucky health or yucky relationships or yucky finances, and insert in and reboot a high level of health in loving, deep, authentic relationships, and wonderful ability to magnetize money, and be successful, and let yourself share your gifts with the world. You're meant to share your gifts with the world, and what a gift that is. And we are here for you for that. All right, so good. So I'm glad you are on board with me, saying yes. We're going to trump our self-worth, reboot it, and have it show us, yes. That way, the world, once you have that at the subconscious level, that you know you're worthy, and worthy of a great life, worthy of love, worthy of being wanted, worthy of all the things you would love to dream of and have and experience here, then you're going to be amazed of having those tiny little steps of the new experience that will be able to come to you. And what a gift that is. That is such a gift. That is such a gift. So yes, let's reboot our self-worth. Heck yeah. So what we'll be talking about now is that for most of us, and I know myself included, I totally went through this, and I've been able to transform myself and live more in a higher self-worth than I ever had my whole life. And I will do this for my whole life, a journey of continuing to reboot my self-worth. And I actually have it become more of an exciting adventure for myself now, because hey, if anything pops up that shows that I don't have the self-worth, I thank it now for showing up. I'm like, wow, thank you for showing up, because now I appreciate. Because once something does show up, you can do something about it. If you don't know about it, you're never going to do anything about it. And you might still be stuck in complaining, blaming, victim energy. Oh, woe is me, or just thinking the worst is going to happen, or thinking the worst of you, your own self. And you can end that. That's the old way. And say goodbye to that old way. Welcome in the new way. We live in the Aquarian age now. And the Aquarian age is meant for us to connect to our hearts, to live from our heart center, to equalize our feminine with our masculine within us, our divine feminine and masculine with our human feminine and masculine. And let that, at that sweet spot in the middle of the two working together. And that is really crucial. And then you'll be remembering your self-worth, of course, that you are an amazing divine being here. We all are amazing. The gift is when you reboot your own self-worth, it will help you open up and see everybody else's self-worth too, and begin to value people even more, in life, and even just like Mother Nature and animals, trees, all of it. What a gift, because then you can grow in your own self-love within yourself, and that is vital. It's so important for us to be able to do, and we welcome that for you. So in order to be able to reboot your self-worth, it is really vital to see what energy you are operating in. Are you operating in fear, a lot of fear or worry, or are you operating in a lot of love? And if you're somewhere in between, or someone might be up and down with that, these aspects of the fear are the parts that are super important for us to address. Okay. What are you afraid of? That may be impinging your ability to fully access your self-worth. And the first one is a lot of us are afraid of rejection. I know, even I have aspects with that too, of a fear, because it sucks to get rejected. It does not feel good at all, that's for sure. And it's actually a gift. So if you ever get rejected, or get hurt, let's somebody pulls away. I was just in a relationship, and then he just broke up with me like last month, and I felt rejected, and it was here for me, and I helped it to reboot my self-worth. Because the reason we aren't together, there's reasons, and he gets a free will choice to go on his own. And does that impinge on me? So that's the thing we have to ask ourselves. Are we taking it too personal? Okay, what's wrong with me? Or what did I do that was wrong? Or why doesn't he like me? Or blah, blah. Can you stop that? Can you let yourself stop that? Become curious. Access your heart again. Come back into your own self-love again. That's the work that I'm doing with myself, and I'm grateful for it. So I'm actually grateful for the relationship we have and the breakup. Believe it or not, as hard as that is, because I'm choosing to activate my self-worth through it all, and to be able to learn and to grow. Because then I know with the next relationship, I will be even higher in my self-worth because of that last relationship. If you choose to be able to work in this way, then you can continue to enhance your own self-worth and your own worthy experiences that you get to have in your life. And we welcome you to that. So if it is that rejection, then the direct rejection may also have impinging parts like I'm not good enough, or there's something wrong with me underlaying it. And that's where the gift of PSYCH-K can come in. So PSYCH-K is a tool that you can use. You come to one of my workshops, and online or in person, you can learn how to use this for yourself within minutes. I use this all the time for myself, and I'm forever grateful. That's for sure. So like with rejection, or you feel like, I'm not good enough. Switch it. Upgrade your subconscious that I am good enough. And then you get to insert it literally at the subconscious level of mind. And next thing you know, you're going to be feeling better, and then you'll have more interesting experiences and hopefully more or less rejection experiences. The next thing that many people are afraid of is being a burden to people. Do you feel like you're a burden to people? Then if you are, that's just a bit of a red flag that your self-worth might be being impinged on. And you can let that go. It's just a perception. And it probably is because of the experiences you had when you were younger. It will be some healing work you'll need to do within yourself. That's for sure. This is all internal healing work that we are called to do. Forgiveness, letting go. Forgive those that you felt that you had, where maybe your parents or caregivers might thought you felt like you were too much for them or too much on them. I know even for myself with the finances, I was one of 12 kids, so I felt like I was a bit of a burden to my parents just because they had a lot of stress about money. And I've had to reprogram my subconscious mind about that. They chose to have all these kids, and they do love us. And how about we can be a huge blessing, and it can help them open up their creativity, which they actually were able to do with finding a way to manage to be able to take care of all these kids. And my parents actually did, believe it or not. Pretty amazing. But we might have created our own little ideas in our minds. And that's the part that when we can address what those are and then change them at the subconscious level and insert in your new program, you will feel better, that's for sure, and you'll have more exciting, fun experiences in your life. And that's what we want. We want to change this funk to fun, and you get to do this here. Okay. What else are you afraid of? Are you afraid of being judged or ridiculed? It's a huge one. It doesn't feel good to be judged, that's for sure, or critical, or ridiculed, or bullied, any of those experiences. If you have had those growing up, it can affect your self-worth completely. And you can heal from it. You can forgive. You can let it go. You can reconstruct in your own mind and in your own heart a remembrance that you are worthy. And the reason you just had those experiences is because we live here in the third dimension with a bunch of humans who have been hurt too. Whoever is criticizing you or being judgmental is because of their own lack of self-worth, that they are actually lobbing it right onto you to then affect your self-worth. So what you'll be able to do is you're going to be able to create boundaries, and we'll be talking about that, the different activities you can do to help yourself. But just recognizing, okay, yeah, I don't like to be judged, I don't like to be ridiculed, and just say, hey, I'm going to find ways to stand up for myself. I'm going to find ways to help stop that, have boundaries, and choose to be with people that are loving to me and value me and know my worth, right? And then because I know my worth, because when you know your worth, then other people are also going to be expressing how they know your worth too, which is the gift that you're going to do here for yourself, which is really awesome. All right, so what else you might be afraid of that might be impinging on your self-worth? The next one is abandonment. So you might feel abandoned. Or the fear of being abandoned. And you might have had that experience when you were younger. So what else you might be afraid of? It could be fear of abandonment. I know for myself with my father, I felt like I was a bit abandoned by him. He didn't know he was doing this at all. It was just the way he was of how he related to his kids. But in my little girl heart and mind, I thought that he was abandoning me by not wanting to open his heart to me and connect and show love to me. Instead, he was more taught me how to be a Marine. You might have had an experience like that too. And this is also where you can heal your heart with forgiveness, with letting go, and with inserting in that, hey, like for me, I programmed myself using PSYCH-K that my dad does love me, loves me greatly. He did the best he could with showing that love. And so that I know now that yes, he does love me. And you can do this too. You can change your reality by changing your beliefs, by changing your perceptions. And you can do it within minutes. How cool is that? So another thing you might be afraid of is being too much. Oh, ding, 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 ding. I got a trophy for that one. I heard that a lot growing up in my life. You're too much. You're too much. You're too this. You speak too much. You do too much. You have too high energy. Blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Yeah, I'm a high energy being. Yes, I am. And you might be too. And other people that aren't in the high energy might be really feeling that, and they would try and stop it or shut it down or, catapult over it. And the gift is that just let me know if I in my lack of worthiness, I'll just stay small, I'll be quieter, I'll tone it down, I'll hide, I'll do stuff. No, I stop that. No, I get to be me. And how nice when you can stand in your power when you can know your worth and just be you. And whoever can't handle it, they can move on their merry way. And the ones that can handle it will come into your life, and they'll love you exactly as you are, because you are perfectly made, beautifully made exactly as you are, as in your uniqueness. And seriously, we only want people in our lives that actually want us the way we are, and that they can feel good with themselves when they're around us. And we can feel good about ourselves when we're around them. Now, isn't that a nice? Yeah, because then when our self-worth is high and their self-worth is high, yay, we all start feeling a heck of a lot better. And you can do this. Oh, what a gift. Okay, so what else you might be afraid of? You might be afraid of feeling vulnerable. Many people don't like feeling vulnerable. They're even afraid of their own emotions, and they'll cut that off. So they'll block that, or they'll deny it, or they'll avoid things. And we'll be talking about attachment styles. There's an avoidant, there's an anxious, and there's a disorganized, and then there's the secure attachment in relationships. And if you're erring on some of the imbalanced one, the insecure ones, it's just because you could use a bit of rebooting with your self-worth. When you reboot your self-worth, those attachment styles can shift back into secure attachment. And what a gift that can bring you. Because actually your vulnerability, when you're able to be vulnerable, it's actually when you're really strong, because you have the courage and willingness to actually feel, yes, in your body, the things that are happening, and express and share how you feel. When you can do those things, then you are definitely standing in your self-worth. And we highly, highly encourage you to begin to do that. And we'll be sharing some steps you can take so that you can actually do this in a new way, and begin in a new way. Absolutely. Yay. So 4 things you can do that can help you with rebooting your self-worth. The first one is to begin to notice your inner self-talk and shift it from negative to positive. If you're talking bad about yourself, like we were talking about earlier, if you're saying, oh, this is stupid for me to say, or oh, I'm so sorry, or I know this might be a lot of trouble, those are just negative. You're lowering your self-worth. So you get to pay attention to when you can say that, and to say, oh, I'm going to say something different, right? And then we'll give you some things that you can shift into wow, this is, may I share how I'm feeling right now? I need a little help right now, and I'd love to share what these needs are. Being okay to have needs. We're meant to have needs, and being okay with ever how you're feeling, and being able to share how you feel. Those are huge ways that you can show your worthiness about yourself, because this is the human element that we are, to be able to do this, and you get to do this. So we invite you to reboot your self-worth. We were just offering some steps you can take. The first step is to reframe your negative self-talk into positive self-talk. Catch yourself when you're talking negative, or you're over apologizing. That's a big one. Slow that down. And instead, you're going to begin to share your needs without apologizing. And you'll be able to, the second one is to use grounding language. So put in the good grounding language instead of the apology language, or the, oh, I'm not good enough language. No, you are good enough. You are good enough. And you have a right, and you're worthy. So the grounding language can be as simple as like, hey, I need some help with blah, blah, blah. Boom. And be like, wow, I can just ask for help, and it could be that easy. Or would you be open to blah, blah, blah? Because then you can see if they're open to help you, which is really nice. Or, hey, I'd really appreciate it if, boom, hey, could you help me with this, right? Or, ooh, something's on my mind, may I share this? Or, hey, I've been feeling some things, can I share this? And just asking for that. This is so huge. The third way is accepting no's. If there are no's, or even with me, like when I had the breakup, he has a right to break up. And how can I handle this while rebooting my self-worth? Okay, instead of taking it personal or thinking you did something wrong if someone says no. People can say no. It just might not be the right timing for them. And honoring that, and letting yourself begin to still feel good about yourself, even when you hear no's. Okay, because it's okay. And then the fourth one is practice your safe spaces. Start changing your environment. Any negative environment where if you're around critical people or judgmental people or situations, or if you're putting on the negative news, turn it off. Go out in nature. Connect with friends or people or loved ones that cherish you, that love you, that see your worth, see your value, so you can go see your own worth and your own value. And start having boundaries. Learn to have boundaries where you don't need to be around anyone that doesn't treat you well. And you can learn to say no, and you can say, this is how I want things to be. And begin to get really clear. Get clear about what you really want What excites you? What are your dreams? You have a right to your dreams. You have a right to what gets you excited. And yes, you can go live your highest life, and you're going to have to change some things. That's the biggest one. Are you willing to change? And this is where PSYCH-K can come in, because PSYCH-K helps you be an optimal change maker within yourself by upgrading your subconscious level of the mind so that your programs assist you, because 95% of everything we do is based on our habits, based on the subconscious. So let's upgrade that. Upgrade your self-worth at the subconscious level, and you'll be amazed how much easier you'll be able to talk, how much easier you'll be able to stand up for yourself and have boundaries, because you can do this. All right, some extra bonus things you can do is give yourself some small little wins each day. Do little tiny things to show that, hey, I am competent, that I do matter, and that I do keep my word. Be true to yourself, true to what's important to you, and true with what matters to you. And let yourself show that about yourself. That will increase your own self-worth for yourself. Another little extra thing you can do is stop tying worth to achievement, right? Stop proving your worth. I was really big with that too. I thought I had to earn it and prove it. You don't. You're just worthy by being you. We all are divine beings here. You're worthy just being you. Oh, less is better there. And just know it's by you, by the love of who you are, by encouraging positive things you're doing for yourself in your life, that is what matters the most. Not like, oh, how much money you have, or success you have, or achievements you have. Who are you? Do you like who you are? That's a big one. Can you fall in love with yourself? Start liking you and appreciating you for you, and your worth will be kicking up, which is really awesome. Okay. And then reconnect back to your why. Find out, what matters to you the most. And give yourself some reflection time, some solitude time. When you're in solitude time, you get time for just you. You're not caring for anybody else or having to handle everybody else. You get to open up time for just you. Do even just small little parts each day. You'll be amazed. Then even connect in, hey, what does matter to me the most? Or why? Why am I here? What's my purpose? How would I love to share my gifts? How would I love to show myself that I can reboot my own self-worth? Because you can, and you have the answers within you. That's the biggest gift with all of this. So one of my biggest things I love is relationships. It's one of my favorite things on this planet, that's for sure. So I've been getting all kinds of intel on YouTube, so I appreciate YouTube, with attachment styles. Ooh, in relationships, how about that one? The secure attachment is the healthiest one. That's one when you have both partners have their self-worth. They know they're both whole, and they can love and admire their own selves, and then love and admire each other. So they have open communication. They have consistent connection. They have ways that they work as a team to work things through. They seek to understand. They can listen. They can hear, they can make the changes if another one, recommends some things or offers some stuff that they notice, that you're being open with each other. And then you get to continue to grow mightily in your relationship, and you want to be together. You actually want to be connecting and be together. And then you also have your own individual own time. So you have an interrelationship and a beautiful interconnected relationship. So you have your own time with yourself, and then you also have beautiful time with your partner. Beautiful, secure attachment with your own self, and then this beautiful, secure relationship that you get to have with another. And many of us, when we have our self-worth pummeled, then we'll go from one angle or the other. So one angle is the anxious attachment, and I would think I had some pieces of that I've had to help heal with my self-worth, because I have such a need for connection. I love connection, and I can be so out of balance that I always want to be with the one that I love, almost too much, where I need more time for my own independence and let him have his independence, and not depend on him for my own self-worth. No. And if you do that, then that's just ding 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 red flags that you can pull back and say, no, I get to know my own self-worth is just for my own love for myself and who I am, and then he's an enhancement. When we can do that, we can come back to that secure attachment. And then the avoidant attachment is they're afraid of actually deep intimacy because of some childhood stuff that probably happened with them where it wasn't safe for closeness or intimacy. They actually got hurt. So they're afraid of getting hurt again. And that's for them to start activating their self-worth, to raise into their power, back to their love, so that the fear doesn't keep them separated in their relationships. Otherwise, it'll affect their relationships. Their relationships won't be as intimate or loving or consistent because they'll keep pulling away, which can really mess up the anxious one. That's for sure. The two of them doing those two things, whew, it can be volatile in relationships. And it's all a gift. It's all meant for us to admit what's happening, rectify, and see where there are areas that we can heal, so that the avoidant one who has that tendency can come back into the security within themselves, their own love and intimacy, and know that they can trust again, and that one that they are magnetizing can really love them and encourage them, support them, enhance them to the level that they're looking for, and they can begin to get closer together. So this is the gift we get to do. So the key piece, and actually listening to all these talks, people haven't talked about self-worth. Self-worth is actually the biggest piece. When we can activate our self-worth, then boom, we get to get back into our own secure attachment within ourselves and a secure attachment in relationships. What a humongous piece. And it's all of that healing journey of the forgiveness, letting go, and remembering again who we are, connecting spiritually. Our spiritual awakening is a valuable one of knowing that we are innately created in pure love. You are innately created in pure love, and that you get to remember how worthy you are, and that everyone on this planet is worthy. So we can honor each other in a beautiful, beautiful, great way. So with relationships, 3 things that you can talk in a nicer way that help you get back to your secure attachment instead of the anxious or the avoidant. One, when you have needs, to share your needs, be clear about it, be calm about it without apologizing. How about that? So you can say something like, hey, can I share something that's been on my mind? So you ask that. That way they're open to hearing it. Say, hey, I've been needing a bit more emotional connection lately. So this is more of the anxious one that wants the connection, right? Like more time talking, or just a little more time checking in, or maybe some nice little texts. It would mean a lot to me. And hey, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. I'm just letting you know how I feel. And it's important that I share how I feel so that you guys can get closer together. Isn't that beautiful? The second one is let yourself become vulnerable and honest. So that's a big one with the avoidant attachment. They don't like being too vulnerable. Honesty is actually huge because they actually don't trust, but they also have to become very honest with themselves so that they can trust, okay? And especially when we're feeling insecure. So you can say something like, hey, this feels a little hard to say, but I want to be real with you. So sometimes I feel a little unsure of where we stand. And I think I need a bit more reassurance and closeness than what I'm getting. Because if you feel unsure, then what it means is you want that closeness, you want that reassurance, and it's okay to let them know about that. So I know you care, and this is just something I'm working through, and I just want you to know. So, and then offer for them what will help you so you can feel more secure. Like, hey, sending you a love text, or when can we get on the phone and talk, or when can we get together and go for a walk and just hear each other. Maybe it's the physical touch that's important, or the quality time, or acts of service. You'll find, or it could be words of affirmation, or even gifts. Those are 5 love languages. Find out what their love language is and express that. And then for the woman, it's important to let the man know how it provides it for them. So wow, when you do these things, this helps me feel safe and secure, and helps me feel secure in our relationship, and this matters a lot to me. Then the man's meant to be the provider, which is beautiful in that accountability parts. And then they heck yeah, they can get very clear with it. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. And then the third one is collaborating. So frame it so that it can be a shared event, because when we can come together and work out something together, you get that vasopressin release, and you guys get into a higher level of closeness. Like you can say something like, hey, I've been thinking about how you're doing, and I realize I need more affection or time or checking in or honesty or whatever it is you got to put in what it is that you need more of. Okay. And I'd love it if you could find a way to work, if we could work on this together. Is that something to be open to? How can we work on this together so that he knows what he can give and she knows what she can give and receive, and each one can give and receive in their own beautiful ways. And this provides a beautiful thing, and you let go of any kind of blaming or any of that just. All right, yes. So we welcome you for listening today, for checking in with how you're doing, and then coming up with creative ways that you can help reboot your self-worth, because you can make these changes within you. You really can. I know I've certainly done it for myself, so I know if I can do it, you can do it too. Because compared to where I was to where I am now, I am forever grateful, and I'll continue to grow, which I love. And it feels so good. It actually feels really good to have your self-worth to a higher level than it was before. Because your life will become more beautiful. You'll become more excited about your life and begin to dream and to welcome and to receive and to have beautiful relationships and work well with finances and work well with your career and sharing your gifts, because you can do this. And it's vital that you have your self-worth in order to help you with that. Absolutely. So I'm going to read something from the Rumi Oracle. I love these little cards, and the card that we pulled for this talk today is called Oneness. So that's oneness right there. Oneness. Okay. Okay. So I have abolished duality from myself. Woohoo, because that's what we're doing, abolishing that duality. So you get back to your oneness again. I have seen the two worlds as one. One I seek, one I know, one I see, and one I call. And that's Rumi. So you look for me, and what do you see? You. Am I playing games with you? Holding up a mirror for you to behold God? Yes. These are games of love and truth. Look for me and find yourself for all, for I am you, and you are me. And together we are one, playing hide and seek in love's great playground. So like molten gold poured from the furnace of divine love into a one-of-a-kind mold, you are created uniquely of divine essence. You are both the lover and the beloved. There is no aspect of your life separate from your spiritual journey, and there is no aspect of you that is not of divine origin. So then, why the frowning, the fear, or the questioning? Let me share the sublime secret with you. Let me whisper it into your heart. Now, there is nothing to fear. All is unfolding according to the divine genius, and there is a sweet shift in store for you. No matter how the dear circumstances may appear to be, or despairing you may feel, there is still an avenue through which fulfillment and resolution will be granted. This will happen. This is because the divine seeks wholeness of the one. That means anything and every part of existence, and that includes you, and all aspects of your being and life is claimed by the divine. Your return to the divine is demanded. Every part of you, every life circumstances, including your self-worth. The divine keeps rigorous, flawless accounts. Therefore, nothing shall be left unaccounted for, not even that which to be outside divine attention and grace at this moment. You must remember that you are a living heart, the dweller at the center between heaven and earth, star and soil, light and dark. If you cannot summon the joy to rise up and meet the divine beloved, fear not. That cunning lover lies deep within the depths, waiting to gather you into sacred embrace as you descend into darkness. Either through flying or falling, you shall be caught and tangled up in divine embrace. So fear not. Cast aside worry and concern. Know that you are thoroughly itemized on the divine ledger, and not one moment of your struggle or suffering shall miss the hawk-like gaze of the ever-attentive and heavenly beloved. This oracle comes to you with particular guidance. This is a friction or conflict within you or your life right now, a sense perhaps of being pulled in more than one direction and confusion because of this. You are questioning which path to take, this way or that. What if you choose this path and it turns out the other would have been better? But how can you know now what to choose, if not is needed in your life? So many questions. Your mind is scurrying. There's no other words for it. Backwards and forwards it goes, to and fro, trying to settle upon the truth. I love you so much to allow this to continue unchecked. Surrender it. Give it up. The truth you seek is this: you shall be. You shall manifest your destiny just as the acorn grows into the oak tree. You cannot be other than that you are, and you accept this. Life responds. It breathes and relaxes around you. So what you need can come to you easily. It finds you, drawn to the need to you that is natural and inviting, and not a cause for anxiety or distress. The need leads to satiety. What is desired and what fulfills that desire is one. They are lovers that come to each other naturally, even though darkness and confusion, drawn to each other, follow the natural course of the universe to become one. So do not fret or fear, my beloved. Do not hold back from that which is incomplete out of anxiety or distress. It is just the lover that will soon be joined by the beloved. You are recognizing the moment before this occurs. So fret not, and instead let that inner lover loose. Allow her to shake out her hair, pull on her most sensual perfume, and laugh as she dances barefoot in the fields of lush grass and fragrant flowers. Let her tempt her beloved to come close, because she can be seen, she can be heard. Her movement sends her scent through the air as she knows her self-worth. She entices the yearning beloved to her, and soon enough they meet, and becomes possible for again two to become one. And then there will be wild peace and ecstatic contentment within you. If there is any part of you struggling to surrender the conflict between old and new, between what has been and what needs to be, between passion and duty, creativity and rationality, between this role or identity, then know this: even the conflict serves. Don't choose either one and believe it is the answer. Sometimes the sacrifice is not one or the other, but the idea that it can be only one or the other. At another level, a level of divine resolution, there is, beyond the apparent polarity and conflict, a third way, the rising up, where there is only one perfection taking place constantly. Open your heart. You'll find the bridge to understanding and trusting in that perfection there, where it has always been and will always be. Don't worry, all is happening exactly as it should. This oracle brings you particular guidance. There is a resolution and a perfect coming together of elements in your life that might have seemed desperate or in conflict. Something you've been trying to integrate is so nearly ready to click into place. Perform the sacred honoring ritual and stay with your process. The coherence, the integration, the balance, and the coming together you seek is on your horizon, approaching you swiftly now. So we'll do a sacred honoring ritual where you put your hands over your heart and say, self-worth, who loves me unconditionally, I gaze into my heart and you are there. I gaze into your heart and you see my face. We are one. We are one, our self-worth. This oneness is contagious. May it swiftly affect every aspect of your inner world, so that my outer existence aligns gently in perfect harmony with the great divine beloved. You and I are one with the perfection of divinity unfolding now and always through grace on my own free will to be. And then we'll say, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Oh, and I am offering a taste of PSYCH-K. You can check the link below with my website, mahanasacredway.com, where you can get a 30-minute session where you can begin making these changes at the subconscious level to reboot your self-worth. Yes, 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 and it's the 90% savings. And you can also do a full private session with me, or a series of 3 of them is usually what most people do. Sometimes a series of 6. And then I also offer workshops. I'm one of the certified PSYCH-K instructors around the world that teach PSYCH-K. And you can come to one of them. I'll be teaching in June in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And then in July, I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky. August, I'll be in Ann Arbor, Michigan. In September, I'll be in Chicago, Illinois. So find the right ones for you. I do also offer online, so if you want to learn this from yourself at home, in June and August. So just know, get the tools that you need. And I'll be talking soon about finding your sacred way, which should be launching in June. It's activating centers within your body to find your sacred way within you, so that your life can become easier. So your self-worth becomes a natural part of you, and you can live mightily in your great love. So we wish you all the best. Till we see you again next week, and we love having you here. Aho.